This message is for all subscribers of FOPE, which means, for our people edification, FOPE does not promote any hate speech, sex, or nudity. FOPE do not hate or discriminate against any ethnic group, no matter their nationality. Yes, FOPE teaches that the nation of Israel according to the Bible are all Negroes, all 12 tribes. Teaching that Israel is all Negroes is not hate, but facts. If someone say that Italians are all Italians, is that hate speech? Of course not. Or if someone say Mexicans are all Mexicans, is that hate speech? Of course not. No, this channel does not support hate speech at all. And flagging unjustly simply because you disagree or get upset can get you in trouble. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Enjoy the video.
Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification button to be notified when we upload a new video.
Nestled on top of a hill in the West Bank, caught in between a Jewish settlement and the Palestinian city of Nablus, lives one of the oldest communities in the Holy Land, the Samaritans, a people whose origins date back thousands of years, but who have struggled to survive throughout the ages. The son of their recently deceased spiritual leader, the high priest, tells us that his father's passing was a heavy loss for all Samaritans.
طبعا اي شخص سامري بيتوفى يعني كان صغير ولا كبير هذه طبعا كلنا بنحزن عليه وكلنا يعني بنكون مع اهله.
With a little less than 800 Samaritans left, they are a dwindling people. Preserving their traditions, which go back to biblical times, is an incredible challenge. Today, they are celebrating a holiday known as Shavuot, when God gave the Torah, or Old Testament, to the nation of Israel. Samaritans read a slightly altered version of the text. They pray in ancient Hebrew, but do not consider themselves Jewish. They say they're Israelites who broke away from Judaism more than 2,000 years ago.
كعلاقة لا يوجد علاقة دينية مع اليهود. ما هو السبب؟ نحن السامريين نؤمن بجبل جرزيم. اليهود يؤمنون بالقدس. والقدس بالنسبة للسامريين ولا شيء.
At the local supermarket, where both Palestinians and Israelis shop, it becomes quickly clear that Samaritans usually try and distance themselves from either sides of the conflict. Are people here friends of Israel or of Palestine?
של ישראל. אנחנו עם השלום, אך ורק, שומרונים. לא אכפת לנו מהפוליטיקה, כל מה יש בסביבנו.
But are you Palestinians or Israelis?
نحن من بني إسرائيل اللي هو من يعقوب مش من بني يهود.
Genetic diseases caused by inbreeding within this small community prompted the decision to allow a few foreign women to convert and join the Samaritans. It's a compromise meant to ensure the future of this unique group, which almost completely disappeared at the beginning of the last century.
Hey, grace and peace. This is your brother Yehuda Ben Isaiah. And today, I'm coming with a quick session, right? To touch on the topic of the Samaritan woman. In the book of John, chapter 4, the Samaritan woman. And so, I am going to start, I guess I'll start at verse 1. At verse 1, it says here, "And when therefore the Lord knew how the Pharisees had," let's skip over. Bear with me for 1 second here. Let me get myself together. It says here, When therefore the Lord knew how the Pharisees had heard that Yeshua made and baptized more disciples than John, though Jesus, Yeshua himself, baptized not, but his disciples, he left Judea and departed again into Galilee. Verse 4. And he must needs so through Samaria. So he went through Samaria, right? Verse 5. And then cometh he to a city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, or Sychar, near the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Verse 6. Now Jacob's well was there, and Yeshua, therefore, being wearied with his journey, he sat thus on the well, and it was about the 6th hour. And there cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. And Yeshua says unto her, give me to drink. So many of the brothers and sisters who tried to falsify and lie because they have a agenda to make everybody be Israel, just as they are doing today. When you look at the scriptures all through the Bible, when it talks about the Gentiles, they try to make everybody be a Israelite, which is a lie. And you will see as I continue to drop lessons. So here also, they tried to make the Samaritan woman be a Northern Kingdom Jew. But I'm going to show you, when you read the context, in its proper context, you will see that this Samaritan woman was not a Jew, even though she claimed to be from Jacob. Let me show you. Verse 7. And there cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. And Yeshua says unto her, give me to drink. For his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. And then says the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou being a Jew, asketh drink of me? Because she is acknowledging right here that she is not a Jew. How is it that you being a Jew ask me to drink? Because she's about to let you know here, which am a woman of Samaria. She's asking a question to the Messiah. For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. So she's telling Yeshua HaMashiach right here, the Christ, that the Samaritans or the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Verse 10. And then Jesus said unto her, if thou knewest the gift of God, and who it is that says to, let's continue, thee, give me to drink, thou would have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. So basically the Messiah is saying to her, you do not have a clue who you are speaking with. Right? Verse 11. And the woman said unto him, sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water? Because Christ is telling this woman that he is the living water. Verse 12. Art thou greater than our father Jacob? You see, so when some brothers and sisters read this part here, when she says, art thou greater than our father Jacob? Because you have to understand the history, right? When they removed the Israelites out of the land, they placed or replaced the Israelites with other nations, like the Cuthians, right? They replaced them. So what happened? the king of Assyria sent Levites to go and teach these people the ways of Israel, right? The ways of Israel and the laws of Moses. So these Cuthians, they became what is called, or what was called, Samaritan Israelites. Okay, Samaritan Israelites, even though they were descendants of another nation. So basically what happened, they became what is called, or what was called, Samaritan Israelites, and they adopted Jacob as their father. Okay, so just as today with these Hispanics and Mexicans that has been told a lie that they are our people, now they claiming to be our people, and they really believe that they are our people simply because somebody told them it was the same thing back then, right? The Levites went to teach these people the laws of Moses. So as the years went by, they gradually started to believe that they were the physical descendants of Jacob, even though they were not. And I'm going to show you. It says, she says one more time, art thou greater than our father Jacob? So many people read this passage and they automatically assume that this woman is saying that she is a bloodline Israelite, right? But Christ is going to tell you, all you have to do is read between the lines. And then she says here, which gave us the well to drink, or drank thereof himself, and his children, okay, and his cattle, right? His cattle. Verse 13. Now look what the Messiah says here. And Jesus answered and said unto her, whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. Verse 14. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him, they shall never thirst, but the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. Right? Verse 15. And the woman said unto him, Sir, give me this water, that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw. Verse 16. Look what the Messiah says. Go call thy husband and hither, and to come hither. And the woman answered and said, I have no husband. And Jesus said unto her, Thou hast well said, I have no husband. For thou hast had 5 husbands, and he whom thou now hast is not thy husband. And that saideth thou truly. So the Messiah knew all about this woman. Verse 19. And the woman said unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. Verse 20. For our fathers worship in this mountain. Okay, so she says our fathers, meaning her Samaritan fathers, the Cuthians, that nation that the Assyrians brought and replaced after they took the Jews or the Israelites into captivity. She says, our fathers worship in this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. But look what Yeshua Jesus said right here. Verse 21 is the key. And Jesus said unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain, right? Neither in this mountain, nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Verse 22. This is the key right here. Verse 22. Ye worship ye not, or ye worship ye know not what. So the Messiah said to this Samaritan woman, you do not know who you worship. Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. And when you go and you look up that word of, he is saying that salvation is through the Jews. Through, in fact, in some translations, it actually says that the salvation is through the Jews. So he says, ye worship ye know not what. Meaning you Samaritans, you do not know what you worship. But we know, we Israelites, bloodline descendants of Jacob, we know what we worship. For salvation is of the Jews. Okay, salvation is of the Jews, right? So right here, Christ is telling this lady, I know that you're not a bloodline descendant of Jacob, even though you claim to be. He is saying, I know that you are not a bloodline descendant of Jacob. Verse 23. And he says, but the hour is coming, and now is when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father seeketh such to worship him. But again, he said, ye worship ye know not what. But we Jews, we know who we worship, because salvation comes through us. It comes through us. Okay, it comes through us. So he is telling this woman here that I know you are not a bloodline descendant of Jacob, even though you claim to be. When you go back to verse 12, she says one more time, art thou greater than our father Jacob? Now with that being said, let's go inside the book of Josephus. Let's go inside the book of Josephus. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. Josephus talks about the Samaritans claiming to be Israelites. Okay? Claiming to be Israelites when they were not. We're going to the book of Josephus, book 9. I'm going to book 9 first. Josephus, book 9. So I'm going to book 9. And when I get to book 9, I'm going to chapter 14. Real quick here. Let's see what Josephus wrote concerning the Samaritans. Book 9. If I can get there. Real quick here. And we're going to chapter 14, and I'm going to read. Let's start right here. Let's start right down here. Let's see what Josephus wrote. He says, and when they see the Jews, he's talking about the Samaritans, and when they see the Jews in prosperity, they pretend that they are changed, you see, and allied to them. So he said, when the Samaritans see the Jews in prosperity, they act like they Jews and are allied to them and call them kinsmen, as though they were derived from Joseph and had by that means an original alliance with them. But look what he says here. But when they, watch this folks, he says, but when they see them falling, meaning the Jews falling into a low condition, they say they are no way related to them, and that the Jews have no rights to expect any kindness or marks of family from them. But they declare that they are sojourners, see, that come from other countries, see. But of these we shall have more seasonable opportunity to discourse hereafter. So Josephus said that whenever these Samaritans see the Jews in a low state, they say that they are not their people. But whenever the Jews are prospering, whenever they prosper, then they claim to be bloodline Israelites. Now let's go to one more. Let's go to book 11. Book 11, Josephus, chapter 8. Book 11, chapter 8, real quick here. Let's go to book 11. Book 11. Let's go to chapter 8. We're going to start right down here. Let's see what else Josephus said right here. He's talking about Alexander, right? So when Alexander had thus settled matters at Jerusalem, he led his army into the neighboring cities, right? And when all the inhabitants to whom he came received him with great kindness, the Samaritans, who had then Shechem for their metropolis, a city situated on Mount Gerizim, and inhabited, it says, by apostates of the Jewish nation, seeing that Alexander had so greatly honored the Jews. See, Alexander honored the Jews. Now that Alexander honored the Jews, look what he said about the Samaritans. Determined to profess themselves, the Samaritans determined to profess themselves Jews. It says here in number 341, for such is the disposition of the Samaritans, as we have already elsewhere declared. that when the Jews are in, let me start over, that when the Jews are in adversity, they deny, you see that? They deny, the Samaritans, they deny that they, watch this, are of the king of them. They deny being Jews, right? And then they confess the truth. But when they perceive that some good fortune has befallen them, meaning the Jews, the Israelites, they immediately, he says of the Samaritans, they immediately pretend to have communion with them, saying that they belong to them and derive their genealogy from the posterity of Joseph, Ephraim, and Manasseh. You see that? He said whenever the Jews prosper, then they say that they are their people. But when the Jews don't prosper, then they deny being Israelites. Okay, just as today, just as these Mexicans, Hispanics who claim to be our people, but they are not. And even today in Israel, right, the Samaritans, they still claim to be Joseph and Joseph's seed, even today. So now you see when you go to the book of John, right, the book of John dealing with the Samaritan woman. Now you see that Samaritan woman was a real bloodline Cuthian. She was not an Israelite, a Samaritan. She was a Samaritan, and Christ told her that the you know not who you worship, but we know that who we worship, because the salvation is through our people. Even though she claimed to be from Jacob, she was not. And I just showed you right here in the book of Josephus, he backs it up. And Christ told her, you're not from Jacob. He said, you know not who you worship. We know who we worship, because salvation comes through us. So Christ knew that woman was fronting. He knew that woman was not a Jew, even though she claimed to be from Jacob. Just as today, ain't nothing changed. You got many people claiming to be bloodline Israelites, and they are not. You got the Khazar Jew, some of them claiming to be bloodline Israelites. You got these Mexicans and Hispanics, they claiming to be our people, bloodline descendants of Jacob, which they are not. And you got the Samaritans even today in the land of Israel, they also claiming to be bloodline descendants of Jacob. But we know the truth. When you go to the book of Ezekiel, it lets you know that Christ is going to return all 12 tribes from the captivity. And the only people that went to captivity among all nations on earth was the Negro, nobody else. Grace and peace.